And so we've been talking for the last 2 meetings about the potential to make otherwise trivial changes through GitHub's web interface, especially on the accessibility side, because often it's just a markup-related different property issue. And I think SAK2096 might be an example of that. When we were talking about it 2 weeks ago with Matt Jones, and 2 weeks before that, the real key was ask Matt Jones where the actual change needs to be made in Sakai amongst the thousands of files, and then it's this trivial change. So to address that, I did some grepping on the local source in advance here to try and find where this excessively verbose summary is, and that was something that's spotted in the Sakai 2.9 accessibility audit that Longsight commissioned. And to add the area role. So I did a source view of this in Sakai, found a telltale start of a table description, and grepped it locally, so that's not on the web, but found this. So this line here, which is in this VM file, needs to gain a little lower than that, needs to gain scope and row on the definition of the header. And the summary itself, referenced here, is in this file. So this is at least 2 edits in 2 files. So I thought it'd be worth trying to do this in GitHub Sakai. So here goes. I signed in, I'm signed in. Okay. So tool source web app.
You'll want assignment first there, bud.
I think I'm signed in.
No, assignment. The project assignment first.
Shoot, okay.
It's assignment and then assignment tool. I can read it out to you while you look.
Right here?
Yep. Then assignment tool.
Thank you.
And then source. Web app. VM.
VM?
Oh, VM assignment, yep. And then the file we're looking for is chef assignments list assignments.
Thank you. Okay. Tracking this down. No luck. Let's look for a start of a table. Here we are. So that's our start of the table. Here is our headers, and here and here. And so those need some scope. So the suggestion was that this really long description of this probably just simply should be a list of assignments, and not column headers are also links, which are used. There are this many columns, et cetera, et cetera. The feedback was kind of just mark up those headings correctly, and you don't need to describe this because by the time someone had this read aloud to them, they'd forget what the start of that summary was. So we need on the left. I think what might help is having this in front of us. And when I say us, I mean me. Let's go with trunk. And you don't get a table until we add at least one item. And here we go. So we've got this first column, which does nothing. And then we've got this one here. There's our JavaScript to sort it. Same with here, our JavaScript to sort it. So these are all headers with a scope of column. And so we need to add a scope of column, and then I think on the where is it here? This one here, we need to change that to a header from a TD to a TH and scope a row. Somewhere here's the edit icon. Correct me if I have already done something wrong. I think once I press edit, that's all I need to do to either when I guess when I hit save, I'm making a pull request at that moment.
No, you're not making a pull request yet. You're making the edit, and then when you go to save it, it'll give you the option, maybe a little further down, to either make the commit directly or create a branch, and that's when you want to do create a branch into your pull request.
Okay.
And you'll also, in the header, want to make sure to start it with the Jira ID as the first thing in the title of the pull request, followed by the description of the Jira.
Got it. Making sure my parentheses are nice and straight there.
Also, the other thing you could do, but this is good because I think, is I guess after you make this, I guess it would, I guess you could download, there's a couple different ways you could test it, right? One way you could test it is by making the same changes or copying this to a local version and starting up Sakai, if you have that option locally. Otherwise, you'd have to wait until the pull request was merged, or download the branch and bring that up, spin that up locally. So if you're not going to test locally, then you have to wait till the pull request is accepted. I think it would be ideal to get some local testing somehow.
Supposed to play with fire?
Yeah, I would probably recommend you'd want to test it locally before you submitted your PR.
Yeah, I would say that there's some that might be really simple where the need for testing locally won't be as urgent, but it seems like this is kind of
Teetering on that edge.
Yeah, kind of teetering on the edge. I mean, you're making what seem like really straightforward changes, which is a good thing. So hopefully that'll work. But yeah, at least you want to make sure you didn't break anything massively, right? So like I said, I mean, do you have the ability to run locally, Matt? Because one thing you could do is you could, you could certainly. I mean, it's kind of a little backwards, but you could submit it, have it create the branch. And then you could pull the branch that's created on the PR and test that locally if you know how to spin that up. If you have an easy way to spin that up.
It's at the edge of my skills, but not beyond them.
Okay.
Do you want to try and just do the and then I can go do that. Do you want, for the sake of demoing, want to go try and do the string change? and I'll hold this off.
What do you think, Sean? You're a good expert on this, so.
I've never personally tested or edited with doing it this way. So this is all new to me. I didn't even know you could do this. So
Yeah. I was mentioning it to Matt because I thought it might be a way that we could more easily, contribute and fix some of these changes, right? Because you can edit right from here and create the pull request right off the top versus having to understand the GitHub workflow. I think there are also some tools that are out there that make it easier too, but I haven't used them. Like, I think there's a client for Mac and then maybe a client for Windows for GitHub that maybe also would help. And then maybe it would be easier to do it locally. And my skill set is not super duper in terms of spinning up issues locally, but I can do it. And I used, so if you want to go over that, we can do that. What's cool is that I use a product called, what is it called? Vagrant. And what's cool about Vagrant is it makes running a virtual Ubuntu instance super easy. And then that way I can have all the stuff I need, on that Vagrant virtual machine and not have to worry about mucking around with my local Mac at all. And then once you have that set up, it's pretty easy. And Dr. Chuck has a set of scripts that work really well for setting up a Sakai environment and having it run.
That's a good idea. I think I should probably do that because despite the fact that I've got this fancy Unix running my operating system, it's probably easier, as you say, to do a Vagrant setup and have a dedicated Sakai virtual machine kind of thing.
it is nice to have them isolated too, just in case you need to just wipe it out and start again.
Yeah, and Dr. Chuck's scripts are pretty good. I've used them. I've gone through them a few times and used them. So, and he has pretty good instructions. He doesn't cover Vagrant on his instructions. So you have to set up Vagrant and then log into Vagrant and then use his instructions.
Well, you want to just go ahead.
Sorry, Matt. The other thing that you might want to consider too is they prefer one. My understanding is they prefer one PR per ticket in Jira. So if you have two changes to be made here, you'll want to do it all in one pull request versus doing it one small one and then another one later on. That would be two different things. So that might be something else to think about.
So Matt, what environment are you using for your desktop? Did you say you're using Unix or something?
It's a Mac.
Oh, it's a Mac. Okay. So that might be something to explore. I haven't explored yet, but the GitHub, there's a GitHub client for the Mac that also might make it easier to do stuff.
Oh, I have it. Web still seems easier to me. It's the Tomcat that's the tricky part.
I'm sorry?
It's Tomcat that's the tricky part. And I can it's starting up Tomcat based on something synced from GitHub. Because I it's within my capability to start up Tomcat, but and pick up the code, and then hack at it, do that too. But hacking at it while coordinating with GitHub, I haven't done before.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's a level of I do very rudimentary stuff that probably takes me really long. Whereas if I was doing a lot of changes, it wouldn't be efficient. So.
Yeah, so this would be 2 polls versus 1 Jira. So it's got that against it. And yeah, it is on the edge of what you'd want to be confident of playing, because it is a couple of lines and also making sure that everything matches. All right, so I'll bail.
Okay.
Sorry about that to squish your
It's an experiment.
enthusiasm. Yeah. I don't think it hasn't been done well, that's a double negative.
But I mean, I think it's, like I said, it's possible. Like if you did
Yes, yeah.
the pull, I mean, I don't think it's necessarily a terrible workflow, but yeah, we have to think it through a little bit. Like if you did do the pull request, maybe we could put a label on it that says, needs local testing or something, right? And people would know, oh, don't merge this one yet. And like I said, then you could just pull the branch down and test it, if that makes any sense. So there might be a way to do it where I'm just brainstorming. I'm just hoping that we come up with the easiest possible workflow.
Yeah, because commercially the string bundles resources assigned properties, so that would be a good example. Except we got to edit both of them, right? So is that assignment and bundles?
One way that you could do is just create a subtask on the ticket, and then that would give you a second ticket ID to be able to submit your simpler PR to.
Oh, I see. That makes sense.
Can you point that out? I don't follow exactly.
So in Jira.
Yeah.
Oh, but this is already a subticket, and you can't have a subticket of a subticket.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, so then just create it as a new subticket for this, for the one thing, and just split the two and keep one and do this.
All right.
And then just somehow communicate in your description or on a comment or by linking them together that they are semi-related, but they are two separate things that you're doing. That will allow you to create two PRs, but you don't have to do it as two PRs. It was just the way that you were going. You were going to submit one and then you were going to submit the other one. So I just wanted to avoid that issue. But if you submit them together, you'd be fine. You don't have to split the tickets up. But if you want to split them or submit them separately, then you'll just need two different tickets.
Got it. So I think that makes sense. Do a sub ticket of the main and relate it. So I'm guessing it's under here. So it would be and when you don't have an edit dialog going, the backspace is something different. And find is no longer working for me, so I have to hope this is alphabetic. Oh, yep. Truncate this down.
Right. So resources is a place where I probably feel more comfortable just making a PR, right? Because it's just text.
I'd go make that subtask, paste the Jira in here with the summary, and maybe the description as well, either matching or something additional, and then do the proposal, and that would do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, we also have a label, but I don't know if you've accessed the labels. We have a label called low risk. But, we're having the problem with labels in GitHub PRs is that only people who have the authority can use the labels, which is really, we wanted to make it that the whole community could use the labels. So I don't think we started thinking about that and whether we want to create like a subgroup in GitHub that is everyone who wants to commit so that they would all have access to the labels. We haven't decided if we're doing that. Because labels is a nice way to communicate with each other,
I completely agree. And Matt Jones had to give me Super Jira min access temporarily just for me to test the import dialog for CSV to Jira, because regular folk with Jira access can import CSVs to make Jiras, but only administrators can import CSVs and pull labels out of the CSV file, which again seems like a distinction made at the wrong point.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So I'll do a subtask. I won't make you guys watch me do it. Off of this one. And I'll just subtask either. Actually, I'll probably do is still go with this one and subtask out of this one the THs, the heading updates. And stick with this number for that change. Which I guess, given that approach, let me leave a comment here.
But I still think in principle this, I'll let you finish, sorry.
So then take this.
Sorry, Neil, I didn't hear what you said there.
That's okay. It was just meaningless. So you should also put the title in to the right of the Jira ID, Matt. That's something I discovered when I did my thing, is that it, the convention is to include the include the subject. You would hope it would just pick it up, but you actually have to put it there, and that's the convention I think we're using.
All right, that good?
I think so, yeah.
Here goes.
Pose file change. Create pull request. Cool. Oh, I see. You get to compare them first. Yeah.
As intended. Here we go.
Then one more time, huh?
So yeah, this is actually where you created the pull request. The first one was just, I guess, a comment or the proposed change. This is the actual pull request.
What's that U?
It cuts off the top of your heading, but you can just stick that back up on there. It cuts it off on an arbitrary amount, but it can go longer. So
I say, I love arbitrariness. That's so much fun. It looks like you misspelled misused, but
yeah.
That's a hard one. It's like, it's.
I did it right that time?
I think so.
All right. I had to get my fingers to spell it properly. An arbitrary break didn't help.
Right. No.
So now now that you've created it, you've got it. And then at the top, it'll have file changed. So it shows you what you've changed. And
it shows you the name of the branch that you've created. mclear patch-2 is the branch. And so that's where you can, if you wanted to, you could download that branch directly.
And
so you should have access through GitHub. Of course, you could do it through GitHub or through your command line.
And then Jira.update. All Ajax-like, too.
Yeah, isn't that cool? That's so cool. Yeah, I love that.
Without even a page refresh, you can see my selection still on the page. So that's cool.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
All right, so partial success.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's giving me hope, I think, that we will be able to do, or maybe I should say, you, Matt.
Yeah.
I could do some of them. I would need to understand what I'm doing there. But.
Well, so I'll call it a meeting for today, but I will take the changes from TDs to THs and the row scopes, which was in this work I helpfully saved over here, and I'll make that into a subtask, and I will use that as my opportunity to build up a virtual box of my GitHub Direct Sakai version, change it there, and try and push that in that way.
Cool. Do you need would it be helpful? Do you need the link to in case you want to explore setting up local environments? Do you want a link to Dr. Chuck's scripts?
I referred some students at Brock who almost did a rubric for us in Sakai and then didn't do it to those scripts before, so I'm familiar.
Okay, cool. Cool.
All right, well, that's lots today. Thanks, Sean, for joining us. That was really helpful.
Yeah, thank you, Sean, and thank you, Matt.
No problem, guys. Thanks for letting me ask all my questions. I got indication from my colleague, who is one of the merger people, that the branch name should be named after your ticket. I don't know how you change that, though.
Yeah.
You know what I said?
I don't know that it really matters. Does it really matter, though? If the branch name doesn't really matter, does it?
You anticipated my question, though. How do you change the branch name?
I think the other question is whether it really matters. I mean, I could be wrong because I'm not technical, but that was my initial thinking. It's it doesn't really matter what your branch, because the branch, once the merge is made, you don't need the branch anymore. You can delete it. So I'm not sure what it makes a difference in terms of the whole workflow. I think ideally It's the I think it's a good convention to have if you're doing it locally. But I think in GitHub's case, it's naming the branch for you. Whereas if you're doing it locally, you name the branch, and then that sort of is a nice convention to name it after the Jira you're doing. That's just me, and I'm not the technical expert, but that's just my what I thought I understood.
That sounds logical.
I'm leaving a comment right now in the same Jira saying how I did this work, and feedback on the process is welcome right here. And maybe we can come to a consensus about this.
Yeah.
Because this experiment started and ends with enthusiasm of what this could be used for.
Awesome.
All right, so we're back here on the 20th. Sean, you're always welcome. And thanks, Karen, for as much as you're able to hang in there with us.
And Matt
I've been listening.
And Matt Jones did send his regrets. I want to mention that because he pinged me. So he said he would have liked to have attended, but yeah, he was too busy. So
cool.
Yeah. Sorry.
We took up a lot of this day yesterday too.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good week of North American national independence.
Thanks.
All right, bye, guys.
Okay. Bye.